You know, to everything there's a season. That's Ecclesiastes 3:1. Things in nature, they have a certain pattern. Like flowers, for instance. In the fall, in western Tennessee, if you're walking along the road in the fall, you might see goldenrod, you might see ironweed, you might see bull thistle. It's just, you won't see that in the spring. Nature is seasonal, and that's nice. That helps us to have a change. Each chapter in the book of nature changes as the months pass by. So right now, this is the spring. I'm going to take a walk along the road, and we're going to see what we see this morning. I expect to see the spring flowers, which would be like the brown-eyed Susans. The mimosa trees are blooming. They've got beautiful flowers. Queen Anne's lace is in full bloom. There's a beauty in the book of nature that teaches us these eternal truths. As an example, there was a lady that was coming from Europe. We picked her up. She was going to be attending the school. We picked her up, and she told us she felt naked. It's the first time she'd ever been out of her house without makeup on. You know, it's just the way God made us. Natural, simple, and there's a beauty in being natural. But she'd been behind the makeup for all her life. She was in her early 20s, behind the makeup all her life, and it was a big change to come out in a natural, beautiful, simple state. That's what you see in nature. God tells us simple and natural, that's beautiful in His eyes. The plants we're going to look at this morning, the flowers we're going to look at, even Solomon. Jesus is talking about Solomon, Matthew 6, 28 and 29. He says that consider the lilies. You know, look how they grow. They don't toil, they don't have to sow. They are arrayed, but it's in clothing, it's beauty. It's the way God dressed them that we can't compare with. An example, Solomon in all his fine kingly robes, it was nothing compared to the beauty you find in a lily. So as we go forth this morning, let's see what we can find out there as we look at some flowers and some beauty in nature. Morning, friends. Went for my walk this morning. I usually come up this far up the road and then turn around at the mimosa tree. So this is a mimosa, and if you don't know what that is, well, it's one of the most interesting and beautiful things that you'll find out in the book of nature. It has a tremendous smell. It just has it really smells good, and it's an interesting looking flower. It's pink and fuzzy. And so if you pull it apart, it tickles your face like so. It really does, it tickles. It really addresses many of the senses. Not only is it beautiful, that's the eye, but it smells good. It's a heavenly smell. So that's the nose, and of course you can't eat it, so taste is not involved. But the sense of, the tactile sense of touch, smell, eyesight, it just stimulates many of the senses, and it makes us more natural. As we look at natural things, it helps us to be natural. And if anybody ever needed to be simple and natural, it's us. We live in a world today that's very complicated, very chaotic, a lot of confusion, and the simplicity that you find in nature, right underneath the mimosa tree, it stabilizes your thinking. And even as I'm saying this, I hear hummingbirds coming, because they're attracted to the color and the smell. And so hummingbirds are flying around me, coming to get breakfast. And it's almost time for me to have breakfast too. So this is my first treat today, the mimosa tree. It reminds me that there is beauty in nature that can't be equaled by what men can produce. The next stop on our walk, on our flower walk this morning, is the Queen Anne's lace. Evidently, it looks like lace. That's why they called it Queen Anne's lace. And back in the days of Queen Anne, of course, in order to wear lace was very expensive, very intricate, took a lot of time, and only the wealthy people had that kind of lace work they would wear. But today, we get it from the master artist in the book of nature. And this is more beautiful than anything Queen Anne ever wore. And it just gives you an appreciation of God's attention to detail, His energy and His purpose in making these things that would make us happy. The thing about the Queen Anne's lace, it's very beautiful on the outside, very soft. It kind of smells, not much of a smell, but it's very soft, very beautiful. But if you turn it around, the backside, The intricacy in the backside, it's just incredible. The attention to detail God put into this little plant. Now, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to go a little closer, and perhaps you can see the detail in the back. I don't know, but I'll maybe try to take a picture. But this is just a reminder that God loves us and God cares. In the book of nature, we see a God of beauty and a God of love revealed. Queen Anne's lace speaks to me this morning. The next stop down the road, these are elderberries behind me. And these are very beautiful elder flowers. What they do is they make in the fall dark, small black berries. And when my wife and I moved to the country, that was like more than 40 years ago, we got a book on wild foods. And Darlene was trying to identify the different things to see if they were edible. And so we came across the elderflower, and we looked it up, and it makes elderberries. So when the berries ripened up in the fall, I picked a big bowl of them, and Darlene made me an elderberry pie. And that was one of the best pies I'd ever had. We were in our early 20s, had lived in the city all of our lives. We were cooking on a fire. We didn't have a house. We were living in a car, cooking on a fire, and Darlene made me the elderberry pie. I sat down, I ate that whole pie. Yeah, I got sick. She cooked it in a frying pan on the fire, and it was one of the best things I've ever had. So these are elderflowers. And you notice a lot of these flowers and these things in the book of nature, they call back to your memory good experiences. So natural world, natural flowers, natural food, natural experiences. Now we're going to go up the road here and look at some black-eyed or brown-eyed Susans, some people call it. And they're really beautiful flowers. They've got 10,000 eyes, but they can't see. These are the brown-eyed Susans. And so every day you go up and down the road and you see these. And you can see there's not much of a mystery why they call them brown-eyed Susans. It's because they look like little brown eyes. Now, the eyes of the Lord are watching over His people. There is a providential care that God has for His people. And you see this in the brown-eyed Susan. Matthew 10:30. Even the hairs on your head are numbered. Verse 29, 2 sparrows were sold for a farthing. Verse 30, when a sparrow falls, God knows all about it. So just remember, God has you in His care and keeping today. His hand is over you to protect you, to guide you. Proverbs 3:6, in all thy ways acknowledge Him. He will direct your path. He wants to teach us lessons of trust. Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart. So as you see these little reminders in nature that you have a Father in heaven, just remember, you got nothing to worry about on this earth. And when you pray, and we should be praying, say, Lord, reveal yourself in nature. Help us to learn these lessons. It will teach us to understand more about you. When you pray, Luke 11:2, when you pray, say, Our Father, which art in heaven. So may your Father bless you today and give you a peace that passes understanding. I'm all over the place. I'm a mess.